Las Vegas, 1973. The golden glow of the International Hotel stage bathes the crowd in light as excitement ripples through the room. Thousands of fans, dressed in sparkling outfits and waving handmade signs, rise to their feet the moment Elvis Presley steps into the spotlight. The band hits the first notes of Can't Help Falling in Love, and the king, dressed in his iconic white rhinestone jumpsuit, flashes the timeless smile. His voice, deep, warm, and smooth, rolls through the air like velvet. The audience sways, clapping, some with tears in their eyes. For many, this is not just a concert, it's a memory they'll keep forever. Elvis walks across the stage with that effortless grace, pointing playfully at fans, tossing scarves, winking. Every move sends a wave of screams across the hall. But then, in the middle of that thunderous joy, something delicate breaks through. A faint, trembling sound of a child crying. It's soft, almost lost in the noise, but somehow Elvis hears it. His hand lowers the microphone slightly, his brows drawing together. The band keeps playing, unsure, but Elvis lifts one hand gently, signaling them to stop. The music fades. The crowd murmurs, confused at first, then silent. Elvis steps forward, squinting into the crowd, his blue eyes searching. "Hold on, folks," he says, voice kind and calm, echoing through the still air. "I think I hear someone who needs a little help." The lights sweep over the audience, and for the first time that night, it's not about the show, it's about the people. The fans fall quiet, waiting. In that still moment, Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, isn't just an icon. He's a man who listens. The room falls into a hush so deep that even the soft rustle of sequined dresses can be heard. Elvis shields his eyes from the bright stage lights, scanning the crowd. "Where's my little one?" he asks gently, his southern drawl tender and sincere. The audience parts slowly, people pointing toward the third row. There, standing on her seat beside her mother, is a little girl, no older than 6. Her tiny face is streaked with tears, her small shoulders trembling as she hugs a teddy bear missing one eye and a torn ear. The mother looks mortified, whispering apologies to those around her, trying to calm her daughter, but the child only cries harder, holding up the crushed bear as if showing her pain to the world. Elvis kneels down on the edge of the stage, close enough for the girl to see his warm smile. "Hey there, sugar," he says softly, extending his hand. "What's got those tears fallen on such a pretty face?" The little girl sniffles, her voice barely a whisper. They stepped on my bear." She lifts the toy again, the stuffing peeking out from its torn side. For a moment, Elvis says nothing. He just looks at her, really looks, and smiles, the kind of smile that melts fear like sunlight melts ice. "Oh honey, that's not good at all," he says. "Let's see what we can do about that." The crowd watches, utterly silent. Cameras flash, but no one moves. A superstar, in the middle of one of the biggest shows in Las Vegas, has just paused everything for one broken bear and one heartbroken child. And in that instant, fame bows to kindness. Elvis gestures for the band to hold their instruments. The bright stage lights soften, leaving just a warm, golden glow on him and the little girl. The audience watches in hushed amazement, thousands of fans frozen in a moment that feels both intimate and magical. "Come here, sweetheart," Elvis says softly, his voice like a lullaby. The security guard lifts the girl gently and carries her toward the stage. When she reaches him, Elvis kneels, his jeweled jumpsuit sparkling like stars. "Well, hello there," he says with a grin, brushing away one of her tears. "Now, let's have a look at this brave little bear." The girl hands him the teddy bear, its ear hanging loose, fur dirty from the floor, stuffing spilling from the side. Elvis cradles it with exaggerated care, pretending to inspect it like a doctor. "Oh no, poor fella's been through a rough time," he says, and the audience chuckles softly. Then, in one smooth motion, he removes the silk scarf from around his neck, a signature Elvis move that fans usually scream for. But this time, instead of tossing it into the crowd, he kneels and carefully wraps it around the bear's torn middle. "There now," he says gently, tying it with a small flourish, "the king's scarf will keep him safe from now on." The little girl's eyes widen in wonder. Her tears vanish, replaced by a shy, glowing smile. The audience begins to clap softly, then louder, then thunderously, not for a song, but for a moment of pure love. Elvis leans close and whispers, "You keep smilin', darlin'." That's what real stars do. Elvis stands slowly, letting the applause wash over him. But it isn't the usual cheering for a star, it's the kind of ovation that comes from witnessing genuine heart. He scans the audience, now silent, watching the little girl clutch her teddy bear, her eyes sparkling like tiny lights. Then, his eyes meet hers, and a soft, knowing smile spreads across his face. Ladies and gentlemen, he says, his voice gentle but commanding, sometimes a song can wait, kindness can't. The room is completely still, the murmurs fading into reverent silence. For a moment, the stadium feels smaller, warmer, less like a concert hall and more like a family room. Then, with a graceful nod to the band, he begins to sing again. But it isn't the same performance as before. Every note of "Love Me Tender" now carries a warmth that seems to wrap around every person in the audience. Every strum, every vibration, feels personal, as if he's singing directly to the little girl, and through her, to everyone watching. The child smiles wide, laughing softly through tears. She hugs her bear close, feeling a love that extends beyond the stage. Around them, fans wipe their eyes, whispering about the king's humanity, about the kindness they just witnessed. For Elvis, the concert isn't just about the lights, the fame, or the music. In this quiet, shining moment, it's about connecting, with one child, with thousands of strangers, with the idea that a simple act of kindness can transform an entire evening. By the time the song ends, the applause is deafening. But for that little girl and everyone present, the memory isn't about Elvis the superstar, it's about Elvis the man. Years later, the little girl, now a grown woman, sits in a sunlit living room with her young daughter at her side. The piano keys glint softly in the morning light, and the faint scent of vanilla from a nearby candle fills the air. On the wall hangs a framed photograph. Elvis Presley kneeling on stage, holding a teddy bear wrapped in his silk scarf, with a small, tear-streaked girl smiling up at him. The woman's fingers trace the frame absent-mindedly as memories flood back. She can still feel the warmth of that night, the way Elvis's smile seemed to reach straight into her heart, the way a simple gesture of kindness made her believe in magic. "You know, sweetheart," she says softly to her daughter, "that night taught me something very important. Sometimes the biggest stars aren't the ones singing on stage, they're the ones who take time to care about others." Her daughter's eyes widen. "Was he really Elvis?" she asks, voice full of wonder. "Yes, darling," her mother whispers, smiling through her own tears. "And he didn't just sing songs. He sang kindness into people's hearts. That one night, he made me feel seen, and that's a feeling I've carried with me ever since." The little girl, now grown, sits at the piano, pressing a key, then another, until the familiar melody of "Love Me Tender" fills the room. Her daughter hums along, a small smile lighting her face. The mother closes her eyes, letting the music carry her back decades, to the Las Vegas stage, to the king himself, kneeling for a little girl and her teddy bear. In that moment, it feels like the kindness Elvis showed is not bound by time. It lives on, echoing in hearts, reminding everyone that even the smallest acts of love can leave a lifetime of memories.